Right, I'm going to show you some clips, some footage of the past few days, because I do a lot of work on Western media in favor of China, because I despise the anti-China rhetoric that is constantly spewed from the West, and it irritates me, and so I make it my business. It's a labor of love that I do this, because I hate the fact that they do this in the West. And so I'm going to show you some scrolling screens of Pompeo in particular. And he unleashed a tirade of a torrent of anti-China rhetoric and bombast and bluster, including actually making this statement. And they said there's a US commission now saying that China has committed some genocide, which is poppycock. It is, you and I both know it's bullshit. It's not true. And I've talked about this in other videos on Bilibili and on YouTube and on our website at Best China Info, explaining the full details of how this is completely concocted. So there's me. That's where I live, just over here under the mountain. So I'm going to take you through a list of some of these things that the bloated twerp has been saying. So here he is, and he's been saying, the US is stronger when we acknowledge the failings of international institutions like the UN. He's decrying the UN here and saying he's got to fix the failings, right? Well, here's what I'm saying to Pompeo. An example of the USA fixing. The USA created and still fund Al-Qaeda, IS, Daesh, ISIS, etc. They still do this, and here's the proof.
Let's remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago. And we did it because we were locked in this struggle with the Soviet Union, and we went to work. And it was President Reagan, in partnership with the Congress, led by Democrats, who said, you know what, sounds like a pretty good idea. Let's deal with the ISI and the Pakistani military, and let's go recruit these mujahideen. And let's get some to come from Saudi Arabia and other places, importing their Wahhabi brand of Islam, so that we can go beat the Soviet Union. And guess what? They retreated. They lost billions of dollars, and it led to the collapse of the Soviet Union. So there's a very strong argument, which is, it wasn't a bad investment to end the Soviet Union, but let's be careful what we sow, because we will harvest. So we then left Pakistan. We said, okay, fine, you deal with the stingers that we've left all over your country. You deal with the mines that are along the border. And by the way, we don't want to have anything to do with you. In fact, we're sanctioning you.
That we had a huge trust deficit, in part because the United States had, to be fair, we had helped to create the problem.
He created you. He created me.
Okay, so that's what Pompeo's talking about when he's saying fixing things. That's Pompeo's brand of fixing things. So here he's going, the duty to secure America first never ends. America first. And here's my reply. I take him down on every opportunity. America first, after we bankroll Israel, Al-Qaeda, IS, Daesh, ISIS. After we've given them lots of money, then we put America first. But Pompeo left his stench in the room. The stench has been picked up by the new guy, and he's kind of agreed with it. So nothing's changed. Nothing has changed at all. And I know there have been this speculation on whether the new guy will be better than the last guy. Take it from me, the new guy will definitely be no better than the last guy, because the Democrats and the Republicans are the fucking same. And my opinion, my personal opinion, is he will be a damn sight worse, because the past guy, Pompeo, as hateful as he was, I mean, this guy was putrid. The stuff he said all the time was, it made everybody so angry, including me, especially me. But it was bluster, it was propaganda, it was agitprop. The new guy, Blinken. Now, in my opinion, the new guy is the kind of person and the kind of people who pay him and who put him in place. He's the kind of, the agenda is this: I've got a knife behind my back and I'm going to stick it into yours at the first chance I get, no matter what's coming out of my mouth. So, can you trust this new guy? No. Is he probably worse than Pompeo? Yes. Blinken. Blinkenschminken, my ass. And I'll tell you why. Antony Blinken, who is pretty much a known war hawk. He's voted for every war of aggression that America has conducted. He was very pro-Iraq. He's very closely linked with a guy named Robert Kagan, who is the author and architect of much of America's aggression towards other countries, particularly Iraq and Syria. So he's very closely linked with Kagan. So you kind of know that's where he's coming from. He's also in 2017, he started a consulting firm, what they call a consulting firm called West Exec, which I am pretty sure has plenty of military backers and military clients. There is this revolving door in US politics and the MIC, the military industrial complex, and seats and places in the government. There's a revolving door of people moving from one thing to the other and back out again, and there's a money go round. So they get it, they form a consulting company, they are involved with military industrial companies, and then they get elected to a place in somebody's administration, and of course award contracts to make lots of weapons and weaponry and armaments and missiles and things. And then they leave the administration at some point, and then they go back to a nice, well-paid job because they made money for these people. So it's a revolving door and a money go round, the MIC, the US government. That's how it works. And Blinken is up to his neck in that situation. That's where he's coming from. So his politics, I don't think are that important. What matters is money, the same as always. And the other person I'd like to mention is a woman, Victoria Nuland. Now, she is infamous for having a very large hand in orchestrating the illegal, aggressive United States-led coup in the Ukraine, for which Russia has been blamed, and of course it was the US that did this. It's very well documented, and I'll provide some links and documents on this. Victoria Nuland is renowned for saying, during a recorded phone call with a guy named Pyatt, with whom she was organizing this coup, and the choosing of Ukraine's new parliament, a new government, they chose it. And she was renowned for saying, "Fuck the EU," were her words.
I can't remember if I told you this or if I only told Washington this, that when I talked to Jeff Feltman this morning, he had a new name for the UN guy, Robert Seri. Did I write you that this morning?
Yeah,
okay.
I saw that.
He's now gotten both Seri and Ban Ki-moon to agree that Seri could come in Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
So that would be great, I think, to help glue this thing and have the UN help glue it. And, you know.
And I think we've got to do something to make it stick together, because you can be pretty sure that if it does start to gain altitude, the Russians will be working behind the scenes to try to torpedo it.
Fuck the EU.
No, exactly. And again, the fact that this is out there right now, I'm still trying to figure out in my mind why Yanukovych did that. But in the meantime, there's a Party of Regions faction meeting going on right now, and I'm sure there's a lively argument going on in that group at this point. But anyway, we could land jelly side up on this one if we move fast. So let me work on Klitschko, and if you can just keep, I think we want to try to get somebody with an international personality to come out here and help to midwife this thing. And then the other issue is some kind of outreach to Yanukovych, but we probably regroup on that tomorrow as we see how things start to fall into place.
So on that piece, Jeff, when I wrote the note, Sullivan's come back to me, VFR, saying you need Biden, and I said probably tomorrow for an attaboy and to get the deets to stick. So okay. Biden's willing.
Okay, great. All right. Thanks.
She is photographed with Nazis, Nazi sympathizers, fascists, and she was particularly very, very heftily involved in a coup against another sovereign nation, the Ukraine. So this is now his foreign policy, Biden's foreign policy officer, advisor, whatever it is. She's not a good piece of work. She's a nasty piece of work. And I did hear, and this is documented as well, that Biden was also very heavily involved in the Ukraine thing. And his son, I believe, Hunter Biden, was appointed as the head of some big energy company, Ukraine Energy. So I'm not pointing any fingers there. I'm not sure, but you can say that somebody's making some money from a change of government in the Ukraine. Go figure. Last night, I commented on the incoming Secretary of State. And my comment was, I said quite clearly, this guy is not going to be any different than the old guy. In fact, probably he's going to be worse. The instant I said this, I was blocked on Twitter. And Twitter told me, your Twitter will now only be visible to your followers and nobody else. So clearly, Twitter, or whoever owns Twitter, or whoever controls Twitter, did not want what I had to say to be visible to anybody else except the people who follow me personally. So it wasn't exactly a ban, but it was definitely a suppression of me as a person and my view, which theoretically should not happen in the West, but it does all the time. Views are suppressed, opinions are suppressed. There is massive and subtle and covert censorship of everything that everybody is saying and watching and doing. I'm just going to show you, actually, what I think about it. Yeah, I do get paid. There's my woman. I don't get paid. Nobody pays me for this.